Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Thank you for coming tonight. We do our fourth grade all together because we're pretty much all on the same page. I'm Angie Van Wyk. I've been teaching, this will be my 21st year. I've been here at BFA since it opened. I have three boys who came through BFA as well. My oldest just got married and is out of college. My middle is a senior in college, and my youngest will be a sophomore in college. They go to school down in Phoenix. I'm a huge advocate for BFA. I think you're in a great place. I'm sure you already know that if you've been around for a while. I'm also married too. I have him too. But anyway, that's just a little bit about me. We'll just kind of introduce ourselves and then kind of go through what to expect in fourth grade, and then if you have any questions at the end, you can ask those then.
My name is Haley Halliburton, or Haley Barda. Some of you might know me as Coach Halliburton or Coach Barda as well. I've been teaching fourth grade. This will be my 5th year. I did 2 years in Kansas, and then this is my 3rd year in Colorado. I also coached a ton of volleyball, girls and boys here, and then girls at a club, and then I do other volleyball, so always volleyball, something going on. So I'm recruiting your kids right now for middle school volleyball, girls and boys. But I just got married last year. My husband is a police officer in Aurora. We live in Elizabeth, so I have a pretty far jog to get here. And I'm from Saskatchewan, Canada. I've been in the United States for 8 or 9 years now, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, I love it here. I love BFA. It's been amazing, and my team is so awesome.
I'm Amy Lucas-Savage. I have been teaching this is my 12th year. I started my career here at BFA, so I love it. I think it's the best place ever. I taught a little bit of 3rd grade, about 5 years of 3rd grade, and then the rest have been in 4th grade. So I feel like it's crazy I've been in 4th more than 3rd at this point. My husband and I live in Inglewood with our 19-month-old little girl, and we are due with our 2nd beginning of October. So that is happening soon.
I'm Megan Walk. This is my 10th year teaching, all here at BFA. I did 6th grade for 6 years, and then this will be my 4th year in 4th grade. Also absolutely love it here and love my team. I'm a Colorado native. I grew up and went to school here in Highlands Ranch, so very familiar with the area. I am a huge sports person. I grew up playing basketball and softball myself. I coach boys and girls basketball here at BFA, and I'm also super active in the Warriors Youth Sports Organization in Highlands Ranch. So anything sports related is my jam. My husband and I also live here in Highlands Ranch, so live, breathe, eat here.
My name is Aisha Jost. I'm a student teacher this semester for Angie, but I'm in the hall, so I might see your guys' kids throughout the day. I'm at Grand Canyon University, and I'll be done in December, but I grew up here, different school district, but I'm loving being at BFA.
All right. Okay, we're going to take a look at, we're just going to talk about the schedule, the website, where you can find all kinds of information about 4th grade. The weekly newsletter comes out every week, either on Saturday, Sunday, or Monday morning at the latest, and it will give you all the information for the week ahead. We'll take a look at the 4th grade website. This is where you can get to the weekly newsletter, and we'll send an email that will have the link to it on there as well, but it's also just on our 4th grade webpage. So the first thing, our first little tab we'll look at is the daily schedule. We all have the same schedule. The only thing that's different is our library times and days and our science lab times and days, but otherwise we're doing the same thing at the same times. Here's our newsletter. And so it'll tell you just different important events that are coming up and anything we might need you to bring for the kids or what we're learning in class. If you want to see specifically what's going on in specials, this tab will take you to the specials newsletter. Second step link is here as well. That's our social emotional curriculum that we do, so you can learn more about that on here. Science lab is typically looking for volunteers, so if you want to volunteer for that, that link will be on here as well. And if PE is ever looking for volunteers when they do the mile run and things like that, that will also be on here. And then here is a list of fourth grade traditions, so any field trips we go on or other fun kind of things that we do, mostly that are specific to fourth grade. The Mother's Day tea is a really big one that we love, and the kickball tournament that I won last year is also a really big one. Trying to win again this year.
Had to throw that one in. Okay.
This is our classroom management tab. Anything for communication here. If you're pulling them early or they are coming to school late, that information is here as well. Birthday treats, discipline, just little stuff like that. Study materials, so if we have a science test or a social studies test coming up, we have a bunch of really fun study games on here, Blookits, Kahoots, some Quizlets, and then any of the notes packets that we do. We take notes for all of our social studies and all of our science units. So all of those notes will be on here. So if they missed a day, then they have them right here to copy down. And then the social studies tab looks pretty much the same. And it goes by our units. And then Envision Math, that's our math curriculum. We also have the 99 Math login. That is perfect for practicing math facts, which we'll talk about later, but is super important. Your multiplication facts in fourth grade are super important because it's kind of the building block for everything else we do in our math units. And then this is the Envision Parent Resources link. So if you need some ideas with questions for them to do based on a unit that we're learning, this would be a good spot to find that. And this link just has little stuff about AR. They get an AR goal at the beginning of the year, and if you're looking for books to make sure that it is in AR, this is the AR book find link, so you can click on that, type it in, and make sure that they're reading a book that's actually going to get them the points. This is our homework calendar, exactly what it sounds like. It is subject to change, but you will see right now, it's all study math facts and read for 20 minutes. That's it. Pretty simple. That's the study, the math facts, the reading. Those can be done like to and from sports or coming to school in the morning, leaving from school. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It could be you just kind of spewing facts at them, like what's 5 times 5 or 2 times 2, whatever it is. And then as the weeks go on, I don't know if anything's in there yet, but you'll see that the science test will pop up there, or social studies test, math test, things like that will be up there. And then each of our teacher links have an about the teacher, their Nifty News days, and the favorites. The Nifty News days, we'll get into what Nifty News is specifically, but Tuesday through Friday are our days where the students will present their Nifty News. And so going on here, you'll be able to see your child's name and what day they are presenting Nifty News. And all of the information about Nifty News is under the Nifty News tab. So the rubric is on here, how we're going to grade it, and then a little checklist, and there will be as an example Nifty News on here as well. And just any of the requirements for it, everything Nifty News right here. And lastly, if your spouse or maybe a friend of yours is not here, we're going to post the back to school night video. We're videoing ourselves right now. We'll post it on here, or if you just want to listen to us talk about fourth grade rules and such again, you can click on there and listen to it again. But it will be there for anybody who's missed anything. The last two things I'll say just about communication with us. If you have our phone number for any reason, just because maybe we tutored or we coached your kid or anything like that, we would just ask that you would email us only and not text us at all. And then same with Facebook. We are on Facebook, so we do see things that get posted, and we would really appreciate if you would just email us about any questions you have instead of posting about things on Facebook, especially if they're not very nice. So we are very understanding and very great communicators, so feel free to email us instead of Facebook or text us.
Thank you so much. All right, and then I'm going to be talking about our rules and responsibility expectations in fourth grade. So one of our big reward systems that we do is called Starbucks, and students can earn a $1 Starbucks or a $5 Starbucks, and then they get to spend their money. So they can buy things like candy, carpool electronics, a homework pass, choose their seat for a day, and the most popular choice is snack with a friend. Snack with a friend is a reward where students get to bring in snacks of their choice for the day, and then they basically get to graze all day long. So, very popular. Couple things to note about this is we do ask that the kids communicate this with you before, so they don't get in the car and they're like, hey, we need to go to King Soopers like right now and go shopping. So we make sure that they give you a little bit of a heads up to be able to prepare for that. 2 expectations that we have with that is 1, they have to be able to carry whatever they are bringing in. We don't want any siblings, parents having to be an additional set of arms because they brought so many. We have seen gigantic Yeti coolers that they cannot get up and down the stairs. So they have to be able to bring that in themselves. And then second, we also ask that there are no deliveries made to the school on their behalf. No Chick-fil-A, Jimmy John's, anything like that. So again, anything has to come in the morning, and that be that. And then we do also use the Starbucks as a form of payment. So some things that they may be charged for is if they forget something at carpool, a lunchbox, a coat, any personal belongings. If they need to purchase a wooden pencil because they lost theirs or something like that. If they forget to plug in their Chromebook at the end of the day, that would be a charge. And then Angie will go into this a little bit more in depth later, but we can print their Nifty News for them for $1 Starbucks if they need it. Our biggest request from you guys, which we know is very, very hard, is to please let them fail. This is a very safe time for them to learn these lessons, to practice these things. Their grades are not going to be pulled up as they are applying for colleges and jobs, things like that. We are really trying to build lifelong skills with these guys, so we ask that you work with us and not bail them out. You would be surprised how many times they throw you under the bus. My mom pulled my binder out of my backpack. My mom did not print my Nifty News. So we're really teaching them lifelong skills. So we ask that in these situations, if they forget their binder, leave it at home. If they did not do their Nifty News, please do not type it for them and then email it for us to print. That has happened in the past. Please let them fail, let them learn these lessons, because 99% of the time it happens once and then we learn from it. So we ask for your help in letting us, or teaching them to do that themselves. One of the other rewards that we do in 4th grade is called Study Hall Party. At the end of a month, if students did not receive any study hall, they get to participate in an extra recess, which takes place during deer time. Any students that did earn study hall throughout the month will just do deer time instead of the study hall party. Reasons that they would earn study hall would be like for behavior, talking when they're not supposed to, forgetting their binder, not having their Nifty News on presentation day, anything like that. So again, just kind of working with us, not trying to bail them out, but it was my fault that they didn't have their Nifty News, things like that. Just working with us to help them build those skills. Second step is our social emotional curriculum that we use here at BFA. About once a week, you guys will see a worksheet that should come home. We do a handout side in class together, and there is a back side called the home link that you guys can do at home. It's completely optional, but just kind of an extension of what we are talking about in class. This builds a lot on like friendships, communication, emotion management, any type of like 4th grade specific behaviors or actions that we deal with really helps the kids learn skills with how to cope with that. So that's something that you can expect to see. As far as the electronic policy, we follow the school's policy, which is also the same as the district's policy, where we do not allow any outside electronics inside the classroom. If they have a cell phone or a smartwatch, they can absolutely wear it into school and out of school, but we ask that once they are in our classrooms that they put them in their backpacks, and they are not allowed to check them throughout the day, and they're also not allowed to communicate with you throughout the day. So if you have any messages that you would like to pass along to them, please either email us or contact the office, and we can absolutely pass those messages along. Again, as Angie said, because we're doing this all together, we can assure you that we are very consistent grade-wise. So anything that you see in my classroom or any of the others it's grade-wise. We all run exactly the same way. So hopefully that should be pretty easy for you guys.
Okay, I'm going to talk to us, or talk to you about our curriculum. So, before I start, I want to emphasize that in 4th grade, We really want to prioritize kids having time after school to play, not be stressed out by their activities, plus an hour of homework, plus all the things that they have going on. We are not a super homework heavy grade level. There are things that they will have to do throughout the week, but we try to be pretty fair with that so that they can have time to be a kid and still enjoy after school. So CKLA is our language arts curriculum. It's been around for a while here at BFA, so you may be familiar with it. We do most of this, if not all of this, at school. You will rarely see CKLA anything come home for homework. While they are here, we work them pretty hard. Our expectations are pretty high. It's a lot of reading responses, and we're working with them a lot on how to respond appropriately as a fourth grader. So capital letters, periods, recycling the question, making it a complete sentence, making sure you answer all parts of the question. So we work them pretty hard here with all of our reading curriculum. So we'll just continue doing that here. The way you can support them is sometimes this work will come home graded. Most of the time it will be graded, and you might be able to look through and say, oh, you got them all right, but look how much you missed just for periods. Or look how much you missed just because you didn't capitalize. So we're really getting down to the nitty-gritty of solid fourth grade responses that will be required of them as they get older. Spelling, a little different than third. We only have about 6 or 7 tests for the whole entire fourth grade year. So those pop up periodically. Check the newsletter to see when those are coming, but they're not as consistent as I know they were in third. DLI is our daily language instruction. That's our grammar program. So every day they have a page of grammar that they're working through, learning some skill, and then there's 4 practice pages, and then on the 5th day, usually Fridays on a full week, there's an assessment that goes with those 4 days of skills. And that assessment can be kind of tricky, and I want to make note of this because you may start to see this one pop up in their grades. Typically, a lot of 4th graders, as they're figuring out DLI, they'll miss for silly reasons. So if there's something that you can do to help them for that DLI assessment, the 4-day packet should be in their binder all week. So if they're consistently really not doing well on that Friday assessment, I'd probably pull out that packet Thursday night and look over those skills so that they're more prepared. It's not a requirement to study for DLI, but sometimes it's helpful for some students to kind of revisit the skills before they're expected to do an assessment over it, and you'll start to kind of see those come home, but that's a great way to support them in grammar. We do have a cursive curriculum in 4th grade that we're all very consistent with. Every day they'll have a cursive page to work on and some cursive pages to work towards at the end of each week. And by the end of the year, it's actually pretty cool what they're able to do as they've practiced every single day, pretty much, of 4th grade. That is an in-school assignment. However, some of them, it takes them a little bit longer, so you may see it come home just because they want to get it done, but it's not required to work on it at home. Science and social studies, just to briefly go over it, Mrs. Halliburton showed you on the website where those study materials are. That's a great place to go to help them and support them in social studies and science. If you can't read their notes, the notes are on there just so you can kind of compare the two together. There are study games if they lose their notes, they forget their binder at school one day and the test is the next day. All of it is in there. And so we do have consistently every few weeks a science or social studies test. So you can kind of expect to be sort of preparing for something always. So stay kind of with them in their planner, follow the homework calendar, and you can kind of help them practice some study skills, because this is when they kind of need to start learning how to take notes and keep them in here. So math, corrections real quick. We do allow corrections in 4th grade for every assignment that we send home graded. So if your son or daughter scores under a 70% on anything, they're eligible for corrections. And they're always welcome to do corrections even above 70%. Their grade just will not change. So if they score a 62% on something and they make the changes and they bring it back to us, we will bump their grade up to the highest, we'll go with 70%. Because we do want to reward those students that put in the time and effort the first time around. But we also see the value in looking back over your work so that it doesn't happen again and trying to learn from those mistakes. So always corrections, look out for those in their Friday folders, maybe put those aside, spend some time throughout the week. Every assignment could get overwhelming potentially, but I do think it is helpful to look over them. Math. We do, our curriculum is called Envision. And for starters, what homework looks like in math is we do have a math packet that we will assign starting next week, every Monday, and it is due on Friday of that week. So it's about 4 to 5 pages long, very doable. We're pretty fair, but we do kind of expect them to be practicing some skills that we've gone over just to keep things fresh. This is new over the last few years. We just felt like we need some kind of math repetition. So assign Monday, due Friday. You as a family get to choose when you do it. If Mondays are wide open and you just tackle the whole packet Monday night, that's awesome. They can bring it whenever they're done. Maybe Wednesday, Thursdays are your better, you split it up. You as a family can kind of decide as those start to come home, what are our good nights to work on math. So it's not a nightly thing where they have to come back each day, it's just due Friday. We also require fact practice, as we will say about 25 more times in this presentation. If there's something that you can do to support your child in 4th grade, it is just to drill those multiplication facts, because math just continues to ramp up, and they need to be able to have those recall facts really quick, even for long division, fractions, all that's coming their way. So whatever that looks like in your household, try to drill those facts, get them to memory. If you want to kind of follow along our topics, that is on our website as well, just to see kind of where we're at. And lastly, we do switch classrooms, kind of, for math. We have 3 on grade level 4th grade math classes that within will do challenges and supports as necessary, differentiation within their class. And then I teach the one accelerated math class that has our kind of the top 26 students that have shown us through iReady, CMAS, their teacher recommendations from last year, that they're ready for accelerated, something a little bit quicker. I do teach exactly the same thing that they're teaching, so we all have the same lesson on the same day, tests on the same day. I'm not teaching anything different. I'm just giving less examples. We're moving through it a little bit quicker, maybe some more problem solving, explaining your work, something which is a little bit more advanced. So that's kind of how we do math. Lastly, Infinite Campus is our new way to check their grades and uniform violations. This is something that's kind of new to, it is new to us as well as a school. So we promise that as we get more information about what this looks like, we will be very clear and send home a video or a slideshow or something to really help you kind of figure out what that looks like to check grades, because it is a very great tool in tracking their work. And just checking in on them periodically and going, hey, this subject looks great, but what's going on here? So use Infinite Campus to check their work. We'll help you with that. I promise we'll communicate as much as we can as this transition from GradeLink to Infinite Campus happens. And then, as I sort of briefly mentioned, Friday folders is where all of our graded work comes home, and that's a great place to look at how they did and talk with them about it. What happened here? not every assignment, that's not realistic, but the big ones, it's a good idea to kind of reflect from the Friday folders. So that's all I've got.
Awesome. Okay, I'll talk really quick. AR.
Sorry, I just had one question.
Oh.
On Infinite Campus with the grades,
Yeah.
do you know yet if you'll be able to set it up for notifications the way it was on Gradely?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
already getting them.
Yeah.
We're like, maybe, yes, I'm sure. We'll all get more comfortable with it.
They're just loaded our rosters in for some of the subjects, so we're just kind of learning along with you, but yeah, you can.
I think it might just go to that, default to that, because I just set mine up and then I think any notifications I didn't like go in and set it, so. I'm sure
You guys set up grades?
No, just
I used it for my high school, or have used it, and it will send, you can get notifications sent to you.
Okay. But it's like,
I
I'll
don't
need to
remember.
Awesome. Okay, I'll talk really quick about AR. If you've been at BFA, you understand that AR has been around since first grade. It is a point system that every book is based on. And we start off at fourth grade at 25 points. That's the minimum for a fourth grader. We basically also do read aloud every day where we're reading a novel with the class. And we basically hand them about 15 points for the trimester between our read aloud. So if they're listening to us, engaged in the story we're doing, plus reading on their own, they have 20 minutes a day at home, they get about 20 minutes in class, they should easily be able to hit that goal. So that's kind of what we do with AR. We do ask that only quizzes are taken here at school. You can also, if they finish at night or over the weekend, jot down their book, send it to school with them on a sticky note. But just like any other test, it would be like taking a test at home. We ask them that they take them here because we know there's siblings, there's other issues that go on. And so unfortunately, we will not be able to count the points if they are taken at home. They do just take them here at school. We do what's called contracts in fourth grade. And basically it's just them saying, I'm gonna read this book from beginning to end and take an AR on it. And so we really try to enforce that because we know as they were younger, a lot of kids just can't really get into a book or haven't found that series yet. And so they just kind of stop and start. And then next thing you know, the trimester's gone and they have no points. So we have them start a contract. I let them break one contract a trimester, not because I'm super mean, but in the past, I've had a kid that tried to break a contract. She was a third of the way through. I made her finish, and she was like, that was the best book I've ever read. And that's all it took for me, that I'm like, and okay, yeah, you're gonna start what you finish, because it is, sometimes it just takes them getting through it and finding those books to read. We are here to help. If you're like, hey, my kiddo is really having a hard time finding a book, we can certainly help them with that to find kind of the series to get them to love reading. But that's kind of what contracts are. There's just a guesstimate of when they think they're gonna finish, like setting a goal. If they go past that or before, that's fine too. But that's just kind of our way to keep them on track, because our goal is to have everybody hit their AR goal and earn that dress of choice at the end of the semester. The other thing I'm going to talk about real quick is iReady. If you've been here for a while, you know we do 3 diagnostics a year. It's a beginning, middle, end of year test to just kind of show where they're progressing. We just today did iReady Math. We'll do iReady Reading Diagnostic on Friday. You'll get those results to you at conferences where we can kind of go through those together one-on-one. Based on that, the system comes up with lessons that they do that are tailored to where they landed in their diagnostic. And so every Friday, they must do, by Friday, 2 reading and 2 math lessons due Friday. That is all done at school. That is not done at home. So again, we work them hard here so that they can play at home. And so we will have time in the class to do iReady lessons. Some of them last about 5 minutes, some maybe 10, 15. But again, because it's tailored to them, if your child is focused and paying attention and doing well, they should have no problem passing those lessons because they are at their level. The next thing I want to talk about really quick is Nifty News. If you have older siblings, it's going to be the same exact. However, I know 3rd grade last year did not really do a Nifty News weekly writing, so I kind of want to go over that briefly. So Nifty News is a weekly writing assignment that they do write at home. They're just going to write a paragraph, and then they present it to the class. One reason we have them present is because the #1 fear of Americans is public speaking. And so we try to kind of combat that at a young age and get them used to talking in front of a group, reading what they wrote. What they really love about Nifty News usually is it's their choice what they're writing about. So they can choose to write, some people write every week about what they did the weekend before. Some people write a report on a different animal every week. We have a list on the website of a lot of ideas people can write about. The only thing we ask is that they don't write make-believe, because sometimes there's no closure in a make-believe story, and it just keeps going and going in like part 6 on the 6th week, and we're done hearing about the robot in space. So we just like it to be concise. All the formatting is done. We have it on the website, and we'll be going over that with them. It is typed and it is printed at home. So we ask that you let them type it. And I know as a parent, it's hard to watch them try to type when it's like, okay, give it here. What do you want to say? Like, because I get it. But with CMAS and everything that they have to do to know how to type, this is just great practice that they really, truly need. So please let them do that. They are assigned a different day. So there's 6 kids that bring it on Tuesday and present, 6 on Wednesday, and so forth. So sometimes kids will be like, oh, my day's Wednesday and I have football Tuesday night. Their day is still Wednesday, but we try to teach them how to use their time, that they can do it the week before. They can work ahead a week. They can do it over the weekend, so it doesn't have to be done the night before. We will be also formatting with them, especially their first one. We ask that they do them in their Google Docs, in their Drive, because that way, if for some reason they leave it at home on the printer, they forget to print it, we can get access to that through their Google. If they do it on a Word document or a PDF or something, we can't help with that, and so therefore it would be a missing assignment, which would lead to study hall, if that makes sense. So again, we're gonna format those with them. We will be going over that with them fully on the expectations. We don't have Nifty News on short weeks. So anytime there's a short week, they get a week off. This will not start till the week after Labor Day week. So we have a while. We'll be going again through the expectations, probably almost writing their first one with them so they understand the expectations. If your kid's a nervous kid, we'll talk them through how to present with the microphone. We've never not had a kid not present. And like I said, they're usually pretty passionate about it because they've written about something that interests them. And then if for some reason toner runs out, printer breaks, they forget it, whatever, we can print them, but we do charge them a Starbucks just because to print everybody's would be, yeah. But like I said, also the other thing with our homework, math, Nifty News, if their day is on Wednesday and they were out sick on Tuesday, it's still due on Wednesday. Obviously, we are very compassionate people. If for some reason they've been throwing up or like it's just been overwhelmed and they get to school, hopefully after the 24 hours of that. But, just communicate with us. We'll work that out. But like typically, if they get their homework packet and math on Monday and they're out Tuesday, Wednesday, they don't get additional days till Friday if they come in. Does that make sense? It's just due on Friday. Again, we are very good also about giving them class time. We're really trying in 4th grade to teach them to use the nooks and crannies of the day, to be responsible. So there'll be times where like today, I was like, okay, we got about 10 minutes. Let's finish working on cursive. Or on Thursday, we'll give them catch-up time on Thursday to get through, finish working on their math packet. And so we do, again, with math, we ask that that stays in the binder all week. Even though it's homework, we're gonna have time in class that they could work on it. And so unfortunately, if they're like, oh, it's at home, that really doesn't help. And so with that, you'll see that they all have a binder. There's different pockets in all the binders. Please do not clean out their binders. We will help keep them organized. We will clean them out after units, but sometimes you might see that we've graded something, but we're still gonna use that for an activity, and they love to throw you guys under the bus. My mom cleaned it out, my mom threw it away, my mom, so just don't touch their binder. I know it might look like a wreck, but we will help them keep it organized because we'll do binder checks, here or there, give them Starbucks if they're clean, things like that. But just know that We'll keep them organized in there, and all of their papers should be in that binder. So we kind of try to teach that in fourth. So, does anybody have any questions that pertains to the group? Wow, I'm tired. Yes.
So for the math packet, our class last year did the math packet, but we found that some of the pages corresponded to a day's lesson that they
Yes.
hadn't done yet.
And I've tutored some third graders last year, so yes, I know your math packets. Ours are completely different. They're not from the workbook. They are units that we've already taught.
Okay.
So they are just review. And like I said, one of the pages may just be like 50 math facts that they could really do in like a minute. The next page may have some more tedious, 3-4 digit subtraction, whatever, but they should all be things that you guys can help with. Because I know it to envision sometimes. Anyway, so it should be stuff they've already gone over that you will be able to assist with, and should be review and shouldn't take them overly long. So, yep. Like we said, email any questions or concerns. We're really good about communicating. We are here to work with you guys to make the best year ever for your kiddos. We do believe that fourth is the best. So, but yeah, thank you for coming.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.